Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nyoka and thank you for being here today. If you are new here and you are interested in true crime, tarot readings, unsolved mysteries, missing persons cases, please consider subscribing. For those of you who come back every week, I thank you for that. I also want to remind you guys that I am always available for a private tarot reading. I'll have all the information for that in the description box, the description box, and I'll probably pin it at the top of the comment section. All you have to do is email me and we'll set it up. It's done exactly like a regular reading. I record it and I upload it to YouTube, but it's a private video. I send you the link to that via email, and then you can watch it anytime that's convenient for you. It stays up there as long as you want, so you can go back and view it as many times as you like, unless you want me to remove it, and I absolutely will. So for today's reading, and before I start, I hope everybody's Sunday is going well and you had a great weekend. It is Sunday, let me see, it's almost 7:40. I don't know if I'm going to get this video up tonight or if it's going to be tomorrow. It's probably going to be tomorrow. It was kind of a busy weekend, so I didn't get to it as early as I wanted to. But this was a requested reading, and I've got several requested readings, and I'm writing them all down as they come in, and I'm going to try to do them in order and just kind of go with the flow and see if I can get as many done as I can. If you've noticed, I uploaded an extra one this week, so I'm probably not going to stick to my normal schedule of every Saturday, Sunday. I'm just going to do them as often as I possibly can. So that's kind of the plan forward, I guess. All right, so today's reading is going to be about Sabrina Aisenberg. So Sabrina Aisenberg went missing on the morning of November 24th, 1997. So 97, my middle son was born in 97. He's going to be 25 this year. So Sabrina, if still alive, and I pray she is, would be 24, 25 this year. So this was a while ago. So she went missing. She was 5 months old. She was born to Marlene and Steve Aisenberg. They had 3 children. Sabrina was the youngest of the 3, so she had an older brother and an older sister. They lived in Florida at the time. I can't quite remember the city or the town, but they lived in Florida. Middle-class family. They lived in a cul-de-sac, beautiful home, beautiful kids. Everything seemed to be going good for them. You know, it's just one of those stories where everything seemed to be perfect until November 24th, 1997. Marlene, she wakes up in the morning. And before I go any further, I do want to say that this is one of those cases where if you just read the surface, you think, okay, these parents must have had something to do with it. There's just too many things here that are suspicious for them not to have. However, if you go a little bit deeper and you dig a little bit more, then you start seeing other things that raise questions on whether or not there was an abductor here. But before I go there, let me finish with the intro, and then you guys can kind of, if you feel like you want to watch a video on it or look into the case, I would absolutely suggest you do that because it's very interesting. So Marlene, on November 24th, 1997, wakes up in the morning and notices that the garage door was open and realized that they must have left it open overnight. So immediately she goes and she checks on baby Sabrina. Sabrina's bedroom, I believe, was the one that was located closest to the garage door. So she goes and checks on baby Sabrina, and she's missing. She's gone. She's not in her room. I'm assuming she probably walked around looking for her, didn't find her. I'm playing this out in my head. She's probably screaming and yelling and going in every room and, yelling for her husband, I imagine. But she ends up calling 911. And it just seems like it was a shit show from that point on. So she calls 911, the police come out, they are looking around, and, immediately I think Marlene is kind of pointing to the fact that someone had to have come in through that garage door and take the baby. The baby is not here. That's the only thing they could come up with. And the parents did make a couple of public appeals on TV. That kind of backfired because Marlene apparently came across as cold. And then you have to take into consideration that this is on the heels of, what was her name? Susan Smith. All right, so that was a couple of years before Sabrina had went missing, and so the public probably, I don't know if that probably wasn't the first big case where a woman killed her children, but that was, I think, still fresh in the public's eye. And so immediately the focus turns on these parents, and they start evaluating their demeanor, and they're seeing these parents smile and laugh at jokes, and she's appearing cold. It didn't start very well. So not only was the public opinion that these parents were guilty and they had done something to baby Sabrina, but the police's investigation kind of focused on them as well. All right, so, and there were factors that contributed to this belief that the family had something to do with it. For example, Steve and Marlene took lie detector tests. Steve passed his, but Marlene's came back inconclusive. She took a second one. That also came back inconclusive, even though we know that that isn't, admissible in the court of law. It didn't help her case any. And then even leaving the garage door open raised concern. How would someone leave their garage door open? How do you forget something like that? But Marlene does explain later on that that was the door that the older kids would use when they would go in and out and play and ride their bikes and in and out of the house. And so it was just something that was left open during the day. And, it just got overlooked. Also, the Aisenbergs had a home security system. It was not turned on that night, so that was another concern. However, later on, they explained that when they purchased the home came with the home security system, and they never used it. So it wasn't odd for that night. It was just never used. And then, what else do we have here? Even as far as Marlene appearing cold, I think, in her interviews, she does say later on that the police kind of coached her in how she should come across to the public. She said that they told her she needed to remain calm. And she does say later on that when she made her first interview, she tried to keep it as cool and calm as she could for the interview, and broke down and, was completely done after the interview. So we have to take all those things in consideration. It's like we see something and we have to realize that there's another side to it probably. And I think when things like this happen in the media, we tend to forget that other side. All right, so the scrutiny became so much. Marlene and Steve actually stopped cooperating with the police, and they hired an attorney. They also ended up leaving Florida, and they moved back to Maryland, which is where Steve's childhood home was, and I believe they moved into that home. So a couple of years later, a huge development happens, and apparently during the time that they were still living in Florida, the FBI, I don't know if it was the FBI or the local authorities, but they decided to bug their home unbeknownst to Steve and Marlene. Okay, so their home had been bugged for 3 months, and they had no idea, including their bedroom. Now, the police have come out and said that they did not listen to anything in the bedroom from the hours of midnight to 6 a.m. I don't know, but it's really, from what I looked into, it's really kind of unheard of for police to bug a bedroom like that. But they bugged their room, and it took them a long time to allegedly decipher what was on those recordings. So now fast forward back to they've moved away to Maryland. They're living in their family home, and they're trying to put their life together as much as possible. And one day, the FBI goes to Maryland, and they arrest Marlene, and they arrest Steve. And they didn't arrest them on charges of murder, but they arrested them, I believe the charges, I have them here written down somewhere, but it was something to do with the connection of the disappearance, but it wasn't actually murder. The connection of the disappearance, or it was something like that, okay? And the reason they claimed that they had enough evidence to arrest these parents was that when they deciphered these recordings, they said that you could hear them, Steve and Marlene, discussing what happened to baby Sabrina. And almost it sounds like they're trying to say that they're admitting it, like Marlene is saying, well, you killed the baby or you hurt the baby, and he says something to the effect, they allegedly say he says something to the effect of, I wish I hadn't hurt her, it was the cocaine or something like that. So they, go into court and they have no idea what to expect, and the prosecution plays these recordings and everybody's jaw dropped. It was like the huge thing in this case. These recordings are completely unintelligible. You cannot understand anything that this couple is saying in these recordings. It was so bad that the judge reprimanded the detectives for even presenting it, or the prosecution team for even presenting it as evidence, and threw it out, and they were released. The charges were dropped. Okay, so they went through kind of a lot, and still to this day, I think that there's probably a large group of people that believe that they could have had something to do with their daughter's disappearance. So now, let's consider some of the things that I haven't mentioned yet that the police didn't follow up on. For example, they had a sliding glass door in their home. So now we're back at the home in Florida. Okay, there was a sliding glass door in the home. The police did find fingerprints on that home, or that door, that did not belong to anybody in the home. Okay, and on top of that, I think that there was a footprint or a shoe print in baby Sabrina's bedroom. I think it was on her carpet or something in front of the crib. This was a rather large shoe print, bigger than Steve's, so possibly a male. But there was the footprint did not match anybody in the home. So we've got fingerprints, we've got a footprint. There was also a hair found, I think, in Sabrina's room that didn't match or didn't belong to anybody in the home. And then I believe they were able to track Sabrina's scent through the house to that sliding glass door where those fingerprints were found. So could someone have walked through that garage door that was left open accidentally and went into Sabrina's room, and walked through the house and went out the back door and walked down the street? Yeah, it's a possibility. And then years later, neighbors came out. There was one particular neighbor who came out and said that on that morning he remembered taking his dog out to go to the bathroom. It was really early in the morning, and he said he swore he heard a baby crying, and it was odd. And they don't live directly next to the Aisenbergs. This was a house that was like down the street and around the corner. So it was odd for him to hear this baby, and it just happened to be the same morning that Sabrina was taken. So there's weird things that came up, and the neighbors of the Aisenbergs actually, do not believe that they have anything to do with Sabrina going missing. So there's definitely some questions that I feel like the police kind of failed looking into. What else do we have here? So, all right. So I do want to, as a matter of fact, before I forget, I just have another question here. I want to ask, one of the questions is, was Sabrina, I just thought of it and I want to write it down before I forget. Was Sabrina the target? Because I'm sitting here, as I'm telling the story, I'm thinking of the location of her bedroom. Was this just the closest bedroom? Maybe had the brother been in there or the other sister, maybe it would have been, God forbid, one of them as well, or either or. So I want to know if Sabrina was the target, intentionally, had this person maybe stalked them. Was it random? Did he know them? So let me just write those down. All right, so to this very day, so now here we are 25 years later, the Aisenbergs have actually continued to do public appearances. They do interviews. One of their recent interviews is online. You can watch it. And they kind of have went back and explained all of these things that I just mentioned. So it's kind of like you have to, listen to the first part of the story and then go fast forward to present day and listen to them explain these things. And it's concerning how this investigation was done. Okay, there's some concerns. They also work with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and there has also been an age progression photo done of Sabrina, and I'm going to put that up on the screen. So they're hopeful that Sabrina is still alive and that eventually they can be reunited with their daughter. Now, even though they have moved from Florida to Maryland, they have always maintained a bedroom for Sabrina. They have Sabrina's photos all around the home. Whenever they go on family vacations, they always bring back knickknacks, or they buy something for her birthday and they put it in her room. I believe that Marlene keeps Sabrina's baby clothes still, and she keeps them in the bedroom, and she said that she hopes one day that she can be reunited with Sabrina and they can go and they can possibly, donate those clothes together. And so they are hopeful that Sabrina is still alive, and that's one of my main questions for today. Is she still alive? Where is she? What happened to her? And are they ever going to be reunited? Now, the last thing I found out was there were I think there was 2 women that came forward recently, and they reached out to Marlene, and they had thoughts that maybe they could potentially be Sabrina. And so I believe DNA tests have been done. I don't know if those DNA tests have been released, or if, maybe they have been done and they weren't Sabrina. I don't know, or just it's been kept private. I don't think we've heard anything. So there's hope that, Sabrina could still be found. All right, so that's the case for today. And I'm sorry if that took so long, but I don't know. All right, so the questions that I have, obviously what happened that morning. I kind of want to go back to that morning and see, and I want to see if we can get information on who is responsible, and maybe kind of like an abductor profile. Motive, was Sabrina the target, like I just said? Was this just an opportunity? Was somebody just randomly walking down the street and they seen a garage door open and they went in and they walked around and they seen a baby and they just took the baby? Is that was, like I said, was this pre-planned? Were they being stalked? Were they being watched? And obviously, is Sabrina still alive, and where could she be? So that's what we have for today. Interesting case, very interesting case. And I think as humans, we all have our own thoughts when we're hearing about these things. So in the beginning, I kind of, you try to go into a reading unbiased and just objective and go by the cards, which is what I'm gonna do. But as a human being, when you're watching this, you're thinking, oh, okay, they're guilty, and then you're thinking, oh wait, no, they're not guilty. And so you really have to kind of remember that there's 2 sides to the story. So I'm going to use the Heaven and Earth Tarot deck, and I'm going to start out with just some information about that morning. What happened that morning? What happened, with that? Was it the garage door? Was it an intruder? Just some basic information to open up the story. All right, Sabrina Aisenberg. What can we find out about that morning? November. Let me get the date again. November 24th. November 24th, 1997. What happened that morning? What happened on the morning of November 24th? In the Aisenberg home. Okay, I'm going to take that bottom one. Got the Magician reversed. What happened that morning? What happened that morning in the Aisenberg home? What happened that morning in the Aisenberg home? All right. Okay, so immediately I'm looking at this reversed magician, and this is obviously a manipulative individual. He is, and I do believe we're referring to a male. Okay, so I do think it's a male abductor. And I'm actually going to ask a specific question of whether or not she was abducted, but so far, based on this poll, I do believe she was abducted. I believe that we're looking at the description, the profile of the person responsible. So it's a male, and it's somebody who is very sneaky. The magician is somebody who can make things happen. You turn him upside down, and he does it by any means necessary. And, you know, right away, motive, I'm looking at this last card, you know, the Six of Wands, and I'm thinking, was this something that he did to impress someone? Was it, you know, like an initiation type thing, or I've stole a child, kind of sort of thing. So that is, you know, definitely, I feel like part of the motive. I don't know if it's all the motive, but it's part of the motive. I do feel like he was watching them for a while. You know, that Seven of Pentacles, you know, it's like an observation. The sevens are thinking, pondering, indecisiveness. And so it makes me, you know, it came out reversed, so it wasn't thoroughly thought out, but it does lead me to believe that it wasn't necessarily impromptu either. And then we have the Ten of Wands. So this was a person that had a lot of things going on in his life, right? And you know, we could potentially, with this card, be dealing with someone who, I mean, obviously, it's obvious, right? It's apparent that if someone has the ability to abduct a child, to go into a home and abduct a child, or even break into a home and do nothing, you know that there's something not right with that individual. Okay, you don't need tarot cards to tell you that, but this definitely, to me, confirms that this person had a history of behaviors and issues, okay, and did not know how to deal with those things, and so it resulted in him doing this crime. And with the sun coming out, it's almost like he was looking for something. It's like he was looking for something to do that day. I don't know if he was looking to break in, or if he was, you know, I don't know, but it's like he was looking for something and the opportunity arose. And it happened to be going into that home. Okay, it's like I'm looking, I'm walking down the street, I'm, you know, scouting out the place. Oh my God, there's an open garage. Wow, this made my job super easy. I'm just gonna go in. And what's the prize? A baby sleeping in a crib in the bedroom near the garage. Okay, and I believe that Sabrina's favorite blanket was also taken. We've got her blanket right here. She could have even been awake. She could have been awake and even happy. She could have been smiling and, you know, not thinking anything of it, because we've got a happy baby here. So I almost feel like it was something like an opportunity, but there was some, you know, maybe this was the same person that broke in. Let me ask, is this the same person that broke into some of the houses in the previous days leading up to this? Okay, so we have the Knight of Pentacles reversed. And then, yeah, so I don't necessarily think that this is the same person. This is somebody different, I think. I don't think we're looking at the same individual. But the Knight of Pentacles is definitely, you know, this is somebody that is, you know, once they're on a mission, you know, they're kind of gonna go follow through with it. And I feel like this is a person that is obviously not a good person, somebody that's willing to break into someone's home. I do think that they've done it before. I don't necessarily believe it's the same person that broke into the houses in the neighborhood before. All right, so this is, I think, a different individual. And he kind of works, it's like he plans, but he's also reckless, and things don't always go the way he wants them to go. But this was like it was almost like an opportunity. It was an opportunity, and You know, is there other people involved? Maybe there's a female involved as well. Maybe this is, you know, I kind of look at this as, I think that there's at least 3 people that know what happened that day. Okay. 3 people involved with this guy, 3 people that he works with, and potentially at least one of them could be a woman. So is this a guy who had a girlfriend? Did he have a wife? Did he, you know, say something to a friend or something along those lines? Because I feel like there's at least 3 people outside of the Aisenbergs that know exactly what happened that day and where baby Sabrina was taken. All right. Okay, so I want to ask a little bit more. I mean, I feel like it was an opportunity, but why? Why take a baby? What? There's got to be other motive. There's got to be other motive. Why take the baby? Why not take appliances? You know, why not look for jewelry or some other valuables? Why take a baby? There's got to be something special for that to occur. You know, did somebody lose a baby? Could somebody not have a baby? I don't know. That's kind of where my mind is going. Why take a baby? Why take a child? It's like a prize and family. This is actually a good sign. I feel like this is a good sign because I feel like the motive could actually have been, you know, maybe this wasn't necessarily planned. Maybe it was haphazardly planned, but it was an opportunity and it was taken. Somebody went through that garage door. That's the garage door there. That's the family. And this is Sabrina. This is the prize. This is like, oh my God, yes, this happened. And with this family card being reversed tells me that it possibly the motive could have been they wanted a child for themselves. Okay, that was something I almost feel like with that other card. What was it? With the with that Wands card, it's almost like he had this opportunity being given to him. I don't think he was out to take a baby that night at all. I really don't. I think he was just out and he was looking for trouble. And it just so happened that a baby was available. And when he seen that opportunity, he thought, oh my God, I'm going to be a hero. My girlfriend or my wife is going to absolutely love me to pieces. I'm going to go home and I'm going to provide a baby to her and we are going to celebrate. It didn't quite work out that way. I don't think that she was too thrilled. Okay, I don't think she was too excited. I think she was scared. But it was an opportunity. Sabrina was this prize. She was this prized possession. And I think it had a lot to do with creating a family. And I also think that this keyhole here actually represents the door in the garage. So this is another, to me, confirmation card that it was an abductor that did actually access the house through that garage door. And again, I kind of actually feel like, I really don't feel like it was planned out per se, but I feel like I think he was familiar with them. I think he knew at least of them because this is him and that's Marlene and Steve. So this is the guy. So that again also tells me that Marlene and Steve don't know who this guy is. They're not even aware of him. He's aware of them. I don't think it's anybody that they knew, or if it was someone in passing. You know, maybe somebody that they passed when they were walking the dog or something along those lines. Maybe somebody in the neighborhood, but it wasn't anyone that they would think of or recognize if they were even standing face to face with him. But he definitely knew of them at the very least. And this to me would actually suggest that he had been watching them for a while. Now I'm thinking about it and I'm looking back at that the 7 of Pentacles reversed. You know, when I seen this one come out at first, I thought, okay, yeah, this wasn't necessarily planned very well. But, you know, this could have been something that he did plan. Maybe it didn't play out exactly the way he had hoped. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it now. So I have to kind of think about this again, and I'm thinking, okay, because he was definitely watching them. He was watching them. He was aware of them. And I do feel like the motive now was Sabrina. Okay, she was the prize. She's that pentacle right there. She's the pentacle. I don't know if he quite knew how he was going to do it, when he was going to do it, or how it would work out. But I do think it was something that he planned to do. So that actually kind of answers my question as far as the convenience of the bedroom. I don't think the convenience of the bedroom played a role in it. I believe that he was after Sabrina specifically. All right, so I want to ask a few more questions about the abductor. If he lived in the neighborhood, did he live in the same town? All right, give us whatever information about the abductor. Was he married? Okay, so let me take this bottom one. All right. I don't necessarily think he was in the neighborhood. I don't think he lived in the neighborhood per se. I think that he did travel there. Okay, he had some mode of transportation. He probably used a car to get there. Now, that's not to say that he couldn't have been local in that town, but I don't think that he was in that local area. And that would kind of make sense, because really, if you were to take a child and, let's say, play it off as your own child, it's going to be kind of hard to hide her in the same neighborhood. So that does make sense. So this is actually somebody, and now that I'm looking at this card closely, we have the city behind him. So I feel like that is exactly what he did. He left that whole city. He left that town. So I actually don't think that he lives in the town. It could still be in the neighboring town or a couple of counties over. But this is definitely someone who had to travel to get there. And he, yes, could have been walking in the neighborhood. I do believe that he walked in the neighborhood. I actually feel like he went someplace and he parked and he scouted around. He walked around. If Sabrina was the absolute target that night, then he could have parked intentionally away from their house and went in and taken Sabrina and walked straight to his car, which would explain why the neighbor heard the baby crying that morning. He was walking to his vehicle or his truck or whatever he was using to leave. So this was what, Florida, November, what was it again? November 24th or 29th? I have a horrible memory. I can't remember anything, even after I just read it. Okay, we're talking about late November, Florida. So it's probably not too cold, right? So we've got the Five of Pentacles. So I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the weather. And I'm also looking at the fact that there's two people. And I'm having to wonder if somebody was in the car waiting for him. I think it was a cold walk. I think it was a cold walk for Sabrina. I have no idea what she was wearing when she was sleeping. But, I feel like this has a couple of different meanings. I think it was a chilly morning. I think that he was with someone, okay? Someone could have been waiting for him, hence the reason why these are side by side. Someone could have been waiting. They could have been the driver, waiting on him to return with the prize, or prizes, maybe. It comes out reversed, so, it could... this is also a Pentacles card. It can be health. It can be finance. I'm assuming that this couple or these two people were not financially well off. Okay, so this is not the happy home that I don't think Sabrina would have enjoyed growing up in if she hadn't been kidnapped. So there's definitely something off with these two individuals. It could be a little bit of health. It could be, I don't know, maybe they were smokers or something like that. But there's something here off with this couple or these two individuals. And then we have the Five of Swords, so we have defeat. I feel like since this came out upright, I feel like that's how he felt. I feel like he felt not defeated, but he felt like he was on top of the world. This was like a thrill for him. He was nervous, but he absolutely loved getting away with it. He feels like he has gotten away with it to this very day. This is him. This is like a cocky individual. He looks like, oh, you know, I won. I'm happy with that. And you can see them kind of walking away in disappointment. And I feel like this is his present day. I think it was his feelings at that time, although he was nervous that he could potentially get caught, but he did not get caught in the act. He's seen that the investigation was focused on the parents, and it gave him this air of confidence, this air of cockiness. And so I look at him as this person right here. But he's holding one sword down. He's got two up and he's got one down. So I feel like he's gotten away with it. Okay, one sword represents the act itself. He got away with it. The second sword represents the time in which he has managed to get away with it. But then I'm looking at this one down here and I'm thinking, this isn't going to go on forever. I do feel like he is going to be brought to justice someday. It's not over yet. It's been 25 years, but it's not over yet. Okay. So now let me switch over to Sabrina. Okay, so what happened to Sabrina? Actually, let me add these back in. All right, so what happened to Sabrina? Okay, what happened to Sabrina that night after that? She's still oops. I can even cut the cards here. Usually don't add the cards back in, but I want to start with a full deck for Sabrina. Okay, we've got the Six of Pentacles. We've got the Magician. This time he's upright. We've got the Devil. Reversed. The Tower. The Chariot. Let's do one more. The Star, actually one more, and the Four of Pentacles. Okay. Well, I do feel like Sabrina is alive. Okay, I do think that she's alive. And I think that with that Magician coming forward, she's a very capable young woman. You know, she has that personality where if she wants something, she goes and gets it. So, you know, now we're getting into the whole nurture versus nature thing, and I feel like both of those are coming out in this pull. So this would be, you know, the nature, right? This is just who she is. She's ingrained with that. That's in her DNA. She has intelligence. You know, she can accomplish things when she wants to. However, I think the nurture hasn't been that great. Okay, I don't think the life was what you would hope. Okay, so I do think that this family, I do believe that she was taken and she was with a family member, or she was, you know, pretty much grew up with this group of people as her family. That's what she knew them as. That's what she knows them as her family. I feel like she is now, I mean, I do think that this is her. Okay, so I do think that these two here are the parents. I do kind of am leaning towards a couple. Okay, so with that Five of Pentacles reversed and that second person, I feel like we are talking about a man and a woman. Okay, I don't think it's two men or a group of people or anything. I think it's a man and a woman. And this represents those two people, okay? So I feel like she's now in a position, whatever has happened with these people, I don't think they're very good, reliable parents or anything like that. They weren't in a position to take care of a child properly, at least financially. And I think that there was some other, I honestly feel like there's a little bit of health issues. Somebody, one of them, if not both of them, has some sort of health issue. Whatever it may be. And I think that now Sabrina is actually in a position to where she's being forced to kind of almost take care of them. All right. She's in a parental role herself. Okay. And financially things aren't going that great, but she is the one that, I could see something like a young girl having to work. Okay, she's 25. She has to work and help her parents pay the mortgage or the rent, or run the parents to doctor's appointments, something along those lines. But she is now the one caring for them. She thinks that they're her parents. Okay, so she didn't have a very good life. It was a rough life growing up, but she still loves that couple like they are her parents, because as far as she knows, they are her parents. And so she is now in that position of caretaker for them. Okay. I don't believe that she has been able to successfully pursue the things that she wants to pursue, because we've got this devil right next to the magician. So she has aspirations, and that's the nature part. There's stuff in her that she wants to do, and I think that the personality is night and day from her parents. Okay, so there's obviously some characteristics that she's going to pick up from them throughout the years, but the personality is completely really different from the parents. There's things that they do that she doesn't understand why they do it. She just doesn't get it. She doesn't have that urge to do the things that they do, and she doesn't know why. She just assumes that she's different. And she has goals. She has aspirations. She has dreams. She wants to do things, and she's capable of doing them. And she's been successful in doing them. But for whatever reason, because of the fact that she has to take care of this couple, because of the fact that she has to work to help live and survive, she has not been able to do it. It's like this couple has held her hostage. Literally, this is the couple. This is who she's dealing with, and they are not good people. They are not good people at all, and it's a man and a wife. It's a husband and wife. All right, so this husband and wife have raised her as their own. She grew up in a poor home, okay, with no opportunities, nowhere near what she would have had she been with her own family. And that's just, how it has happened. This is what she's going through. This is literally what happened the morning of the disappearance. This was her tower moment, and it has continued on. Whenever the tower comes out, I feel like it's something that is in the process of happening or going to happen in the future. When it comes out reversed, for me, just for me, I don't know how other people view it, but for me, I feel like it's something that has already occurred. You are smack dab in the middle of it. Her tower moment, unfortunately, has been from that morning. She's just not aware of it. She doesn't know she's been living in a tower moment her entire life, okay? Her world crashed that morning when she was taken, because I do believe she was taken. She was abducted. And that right there set the tone for the rest of her life to this point. And she still, look at these two cards. You've got the devil and you've got the tower right side by side. And these people here, these people in this devil card, they're the ones that did this. They're the ones that caused this. And she's literally the one taking care of them right now. She's the one helping support them. They're not doing well. This is a couple who, maybe because of choices and, with that devil card, sometimes when that devil card comes out, I think of addictions and, giving into, wants that aren't necessarily healthy for you. So could this be a family that is, struggling financially, perhaps has a drug problem or drinking problem or something along those lines, and you know, they haven't taken care of themselves, and, you know, they're a little bit older. I do feel like they're about the same age as Sabrina's real parents are. But, you know, they're getting older, right? It's been 20 years, 25 years. So they are getting older, and they are deteriorating at a more rapid pace than her actual parents are. Okay. And she has kind of had to step up and take care of them and do that role. And she does it. But because of that, it has really kind of, you know, prevented her from doing things that she wanted to do. And then we have the Chariot. So, you know, this is the Chariot again. It's still coming out. And so I do feel like wherever they are, I believe that they're in the same area. I don't think that they've left, actually. I feel like this is the same Chariot, but I don't feel like it's in that town. Okay, it's definitely not in that town. It's in a different town. But I'm going to ask if they're in Florida or if they've moved. But I feel like this is indicating to me, since it's came out again, that, and I actually feel like, honestly, I feel like the car that the guy used, that the parents used, I think that they could actually still be in possession of it. I really do. I think that they could still be in possession of it. It might not run. It might be in a garage somewhere. It might be sitting in a backyard with no tires. But I have to feel, I actually feel like the car, they could still be in possession of that car. And then again, the Star, that just goes back to the hopes and dreams that I talked about. You know, this is her. This is what she has in her, and it's right underneath that Magician. So, you know, definitely. I do think that she's saving money. She's definitely saving money. She works, and she saves as much money as she can. And I think that that's a little bit of this as well. I think that she wants to leave. I think she wants to get away from her home. You know, she's tired, she's exhausted. She wants to leave. She wants to start her own life, but she feels obligated to take care of these two here that she's taking care of. Okay, so there's some of that. I'm 25. I love you guys, but I want to go out and I want to start living my life. I want to, you know, move. I want to do things. I want to experience things. And financially, she just hasn't been able to do it. Okay, which is this card, you know, but she does hold on to money. I think that she works. I think she works hard. And I think that whatever extra penny she gets, she puts it aside. And she's putting it aside for her future. Okay, so very interesting. Very interesting. All right. I want to ask just really quickly, because I do feel like she feels different from her parents, you know, her parents, the abductor parents. She feels different, but I want to know if she actually, does she suspect anything like this? Does she suspect that she's not their child based on physical looks, behavior, personality? Is there something in her that she questions? Got that same card again. Let me pull this back one. All right, so I don't think she questions per se if those are her parents, but I do believe that there is there's a sadness in her. There is a sadness. There's a sadness, and there's this can sometimes represent depression, right? Serious sadness, and you know, shame, and you know, disappointment and hopelessness. This is a very, you know, this is a challenging card to pull. And so we've got, you know, the fives have come up a couple of times in this reading so far, and fives are, you know, chaos sometimes. And so I do feel like she's not in her mind. I don't think she's at all thinking, you know, I was kidnapped as a baby, but she definitely feels like something's wrong. She definitely feels an emptiness, a hole somewhere. There's something in her that is not full, but she doesn't know what it is. That's why this is coming out reversed. You know, if it came out, this is a person who knows what is causing this, but it's coming out reversed, and so she feels like this. Her emotions are off, but she doesn't know why. It's hidden. It's the cloak. It's hidden. It's in the dark. She has no clue as to why she feels these feelings, but she does have feelings, and she feels drawn, I think, away from the family. She feels like she almost wants to leave. There's this feeling of wanting to leave, and she doesn't understand that either. This is leaving bad for good, getting away from something, right, and going towards something better. So there's a longing for her, I think, to want to leave, and I do think that part of that is just because she wants to get out and start her life. She's a young adult now, and she wants to start her life and do her own thing, but she's being held there. It's like she's being held from guilt and financially and, maybe other reasons, but I think it's mainly those. So she's not able to leave. She's kind of stuck in that environment. But there is a longing to go, and there's a longing, there's an emptiness feeling in her that just doesn't feel right. And then we have the Five of Pentacles again. So I think this is coming up because there is, it goes back to the money. There's not enough money to leave, okay? They are not financially equipped to, I believe that this actually is in regards to school as well. I believe that deep down inside she probably wanted to go to college and was not able to do that and had to work instead. So she has these goals of, leaving and doing her own thing, going to school and getting away from her home, her childhood home, but she's just not able to do it. And this is that health card again, and this is mom and dad, and I feel like there's something going on with mom and dad, or one of them or both, that she has again been put in that parental position, and she's staying there out of guilt. And that guilt could be a little bit of this as well, but I feel like this is mainly that feeling, that hole in her that she just doesn't feel right. There's just something off. All right, so now I'm going to go into the After Tarot, which I thought was fitting for this because we want to know what happened after Sabrina was taken. All right, so I kind of want to focus on location. I want to ask if Sabrina is still in Florida. Is Sabrina still in Florida? Okay, Sabrina's still in Florida. I believe she is. I believe that she's still in Florida, but, this is a good card. It's definitely a yes card for me. But I feel like the carriage and the celebration vibe to this card is a representation of, I think that she likes Florida, okay? I think she does like Florida, and she likes that area, but it's the situation, okay? She wants to get out of that situation. She would like to leave, hence the carriage. She would like to leave the situation and start her own life, but I don't think that she has an issue with Florida. I think that she still lives in Florida, and I think that she enjoys Florida. I think that she likes the weather. It's a sunny state, right? It's a sunshine state, and we've got that sunshine here. I think that represents the actual weather that she enjoys. So she would probably stay there, not necessarily in that town, but definitely in the state of Florida if she were to go to college or something along those lines. Okay, so I want to ask if she's ever going to be reunited with her family. Is she ever going to find out the truth? Is something going to happen to make her question her identity or something? I don't think she suspects. Okay, the devil. All right, so not the cards I was necessarily hoping for in this situation, but we've got this Ten of Swords. Okay, so the question is she ever going to be reunited with her real family? Now, you could look at this two ways. This could be a no, right? Or it could be a yes in the sense that there's going to be an ending to the current situation and a new beginning. And that's how I usually look at this card. Not always, but sometimes, that sun peeking through those dark clouds represents a new tomorrow, right? This is an ending of something, a death, so to speak, a transition period. So it does give me hope in the sense that this situation may not last forever. It may die. It may cease to exist, and she may find out the truth as to what happened, but she's got a lot going on right now that makes it very difficult to even focus on anything like that. I don't think, number one, her mind is even thinking that way. She's not even suspecting anything. She feels like there's something off, okay? But she's not, for the life of her, thinking anything like what it is. She just thinks that she's different. And she has this feeling that she can't explain, but she doesn't think she was abducted. That's the furthest from her mind. But another thing that I'm looking at with this card is I have a feeling that potentially one of those parents, God forbid, when and if one of them, I feel like it could be one passing away, and that starts a whole domino effect of things happening. For whatever reason, I feel like I'm getting the dad, okay? And I feel like he's a drinker. I feel like dad's a drinker. And that could play a role in his health, okay? So the reason I feel like these are two side by side, and then take this devil, okay? Remember I said earlier the devil was the couple? So we've got the couple, we've got the dad. Sometimes the reverse king for me is a drinker, okay? Can't control his emotions, maybe has anger problems. And then we have this card here. So I actually kind of feel like there's something going on with one of the parents, probably the dad, health-wise, because I feel like there's a significant health issue with one of them, at least one of them, and I feel like dad, which is the abductor in my opinion. I feel like that time in her life when that occurs, if it hasn't already, is going to set off a domino effect of activities, which then may lead to her finding out. So I'm not dismissing the possibility, but there's things that have to occur first. And unfortunately, if that happens, then he is not going to have any consequences, right? So he would, in a sense, get away with it. Now, I don't feel like he would, because I feel like, we have karma when we cross over. If there's anything that we have to make amends for, we have to do it there as well. So, but I feel like that's kind of where we're headed. And then we've got 2 twos. So we've got a decision and we've got balance. And I feel like, again, this is coming back to Sabrina. So there's going to be a decision that has to be made on her end as to how she deals with this potential passing away, what she's going to do after. Is this going to be a turning point? Is she going to say, okay, you know what? I did what I could do. I took care of my dad as long as I could take care of him, and now it's my turn. Now it's my turn to start living my life. And like I said, that domino effect of things in her life may lead to her finding out something that she needs to find out. This is a blindfolded girl. This is her, and she has no clue as to what's going on around her or what happened to her. She is completely blindsided by it. But like I said, things, and that's why it's coming out reversed. I feel like she just doesn't have a clue, and part of this is the decision thing that I was talking about too. Something like this were to happen with a parent, a parental figure, you know, then she is left with maybe the opportunity to finally get out of that situation. I do think money is still going to be an issue, though. You know, it's going to be some juggling of finances. She doesn't have, she does not come from, well, she's not in a family that has money, and she therefore does not have money. She struggles, okay? She struggles and works to make ends meet, and this juggling is what she does. You know, it's, you know, I need a phone maybe, but I can't afford a fancy phone because I have to help with the groceries this week, or I have to, you know, not have the latest clothing because I have to pay the utility bills or something along those lines. But I do think that she is very frugal. She's very frugal with her money, and she only buys necessities, okay? And I say that because of that Four of Pentacles that came out earlier. She's very frugal with her money. She has never had money, okay? And because of that, she is very tight with it, and she saves everything she can. She's not the type to splurge on herself at all, okay? So I think that she might be in a position to where when the time comes, if this happens, she could potentially try to figure out a way to leave. And I think that that is a sign that she would leave here, that boat. Now, it's not going to be an easy trip because we've got all those heavy waves, so it's not going to be an easy choice or decision, which again, we go back to the decision. So it's not going to be an easy, you know, life when she first starts out. But I think that it could lead to, answers to, this mystery, okay? And then we have the Nine of Wands. So I think that she has actually been through quite a bit in her life, that Nine of Wands. She has not, unfortunately, and this is not the way I expected the reading to go, she hasn't had, you know, she's had struggles. This hasn't been an easy life growing up. It wasn't an easy childhood. It wasn't an easy early adulthood. It wasn't an easy life now, currently. Okay, she's went through some stuff. However, this is also that card that says you went through it, but you survived it, and you're still standing, and you're going to continue to stand. I want to ask again. I want to pull another one. I want to know specifically, really, if you know, she is going to reunite with her biological parents. And to reunite with her parents. Sabrina going to be reunited with her parents. We've got that Four of Pentacles again. Seven of Swords. No surprise that that came out. Oh, this is a good one. Okay. So I actually feel like there's a good chance that they could be reunited because of that Ten of Pentacles. This is a good one. Okay, this is a good card. I'm glad that came out for this question. That gives me hope. But it is a 10, and I'm looking at that number, and so I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's any of the girls that have come forward and, you know, reached out to the mom and took the DNA test. I don't think it's one of them. This is still going to be a while, okay? I actually kind of wonder if the family card coming out indicates that Sabrina herself could have a family by the time she reunites with her own family. So you're talking some years in advance. Now, her parents, her biological parents, are going to be, I don't know how old they are, but they're going to age as well, okay? So I do feel like there is a you know, there's a reunion in the future, but it's in the future. It's a ways away. I'm looking at the distance from this family and their house. That's kind of a distance. It's not a forever distance, but it's a walk. It's a minute away. You know, could it be 10 years? That's a possibility. I'm feeling like it's going to be a while. And in the meantime, you know, she is still going to continue saving and putting aside. I think that's just part of who she is. That's part of her personality. But with this card, with, you know, this kind of Grim Reaper looking individual, that makes me feel like, there's something, I think, with her and finances. There's something going on with her and finances. I don't know if it's the fact that she's just grown up in a very low income home and that has affected how she lives her life. Maybe that has changed her a little bit. I don't know, but there's something here going on with finances that is always it's like she's really struggled financially her entire life, and that kind of is the biggest thing. It's the biggest almost catalyst for her to get out of that situation so that she can I look at this as her life has focused so much on survival financially that she has not had the time to even consider things. Okay, she doesn't have time to sit down and watch videos or true crime videos or missing persons. It just has never occurred to her. She is so busy trying to survive and trying to work and live that that's all she focuses on. That's her life. That's her mentality. And she has all these goals and she has all these desires and she's intelligent. She knows she's smart and she has abilities. But because of her financial situation, everything is difficult. Everything's a challenge. She just doesn't have the money to go to college. She doesn't have the time to go to college because she's always working because she has no money, that sort of thing. And so I feel like that really hinders her. I mean, she has this inside feeling of something's not right, but in her mind, she's not thinking about being abducted when she was a baby. She doesn't watch these things. She's never paid any attention to her parents being on, TV, or even if she's seen it, it wouldn't register. It would not register to her because she's focused. She's focused on other things that she's dealing with in her own life. So it's really preoccupied her, and it's kind of messed up her. It's preoccupied her. It's all I can say. It's preoccupied her, and the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords is that sneaky card, getting away with card, okay? Deceiving. I actually kind of feel like this could be a couple things, actually. It makes me feel like there could be, I don't necessarily know if it's her. Okay, I don't know if maybe she has had money problems to the extent to where she's had to, steal. Is that one of those nature versus nurture things? Is that something that maybe her parents did? Because we know that her kidnapper parents, are absolutely capable of stealing, obviously, right? I almost feel like that was something that she learned. That was something that she observed them do. I don't think that they just stopped at her. These were the type of parents that if they needed something and they didn't have the money for it, they stole it to get it. And she witnessed that. She observed that. And I think that she learned some of that behavior. Okay, so she may also have this tendency to, I feel like that she could have the tendency to, if I need something and I can't afford it, I don't like to do this. I don't like to do it, but I'm going to do it. I see her as being more of the type of person that would do it if it was something that she absolutely needed. Not that that makes an excuse, but I do think that she is the type that wouldn't do it for fun per se, but would do it in a situation where she has the skill set, put it that way, because she has observed her parents do it for 20 years or more. Her kidnapper parents. I guess when I say parents, I mean kidnapper parents. But, there's something there. And there's also that trap that he's getting ready to step into. I wonder if there's going to be some legal issues with theft eventually in her life that could lead to discovering what happened. Is there going to be fingerprinting or something like that? Because I kind of feel like that's where we're headed. I feel like I feel like there's events that are going to take place that are going to put her in the right time at the right place, and potentially theft, I hate to say, could play a role in that. There could be something, because this trap here down on the ground, to me, says he's not getting away with it. He's not getting away with it. He's caught. He's trapped. He's happy. He thinks he's getting away with it, but he's not. And so I have a feeling that it's a possibility that she could, maybe in a few years, 7 years from now, 6 years from now, or earlier, but she could potentially get herself into a situation and it's not a good one, but maybe it happens for a reason. It's just one of those like universal things that happen and you don't know what the hell's going on or why it happened, but it ended up being a good thing. Could she become arrested? Could she have legal problems? Maybe there's fingerprint, done, and boom, she finds out what happened. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles. I actually feel like this is Marlene, her biological mother. And I'm not quite sure why that one's coming out like that reversed. What's going on with that Queen of Pentacles? Reuniting. I do feel like they are going to reunite. But there's something going on with this Queen of Pentacles coming out reversed that it's a happy reunion. Interesting that we have a reflection here. She's looking at herself in the pentacle, and the pentacle is showing her reflection. It's almost like I feel like Sabrina looks like her mother, her biological mother. She looks more like her mother than she does her father. There's some connection with her mother. But there's also something here. I have to wonder if there's something about the reunion that is almost bittersweet, is where I'm going with this. I do believe a reunion happens. It doesn't happen for a while. It's not going to happen for a minute. It's going to be something that happens in Sabrina's life that leads her to finding out who she is. I do think that she's going to be reunited with their family and her mother in particular. There's something about her mother that she definitely, physically, her features, I think that she looks like her mother. But there's something there that is not, maybe it's not, maybe, like I said, just bittersweet. There's something there that's off. I don't know. It could be regret that it took so long. It could be that maybe they clash. Maybe maybe there's something on Sabrina's side where she's just in complete and utter shock and she cannot believe this, and she's not as close to them as she, as maybe the biological parents were hoping. Let me see. Let me ask another one on the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, okay. So I actually feel like there's so much damage mentally, okay, that this is Marlene. This is what her mom longs for. Okay. I also think that this represents mom and dad together, that they have stayed together and they have helped each other through this. They've supported one another. They've stuck it out. But I also feel like it's the reuniting of Sabrina and her mother as well. Specifically, her mother is coming out. But her mother has, she has struggled. This hasn't been an easy time, obviously, right? Who wouldn't struggle? But there's definitely some, I think, mental issues that the mom has dealt with that she is going to continue to deal with even after a reunion were to take place. It's not gonna, I feel like that's why it's coming out reversed. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's not like, oh my God, she's found and she's going to come back and she's going to stay in her bedroom and we're going to live happily ever after and pick up where we left off. It's not going to be that way. It's going to be completely different from what Marlene, her biological mother, is hoping for, wanting, and expecting. So it's going to be a happy reunion, but there's going to be a lot of issues. It'll never be what she's hoping for. It'll be the daughter, but it won't be the daughter. There'll be so much that took place. This woman, Sabrina, will be a grown woman, right? She'll potentially have her own family. She'll have been raised in a certain environment that changed her. Yes, there's part of her that's still from her parents genetically, but there's also that nurturing, that observation, learning that she has dealt with. There's financial issues. There's all these other things that she's dealt with. And so it's going to be a reunion, but the mom it's going to be hard. It's not going to just be, oh my God, things are back to normal. And I think that will be hard for the mother to accept. Okay, I think that's why mom is coming out, because mom, I think, has an image of what this reunion is going to be like. And it's not going to be that way. It's not going to be that way at all. So yeah, let me just pull a couple of final cards. What am I at? Oh my God, I'm late. An hour and 15 minutes here. All right, final thoughts on Sabrina. Final thoughts here. Final thoughts. Ace of Swords reversed. Yeah, so I do, I really do feel like the reunion, there is a reunion. It's not going to be right now. It's not right away. And I do feel like Sabrina eventually does get away from her parents, whether it be to, possibly one of them passing away, or, whether it be because she just, finally gets enough money and says, okay, I have enough money to get my own place, and she just starts building up her own life and her own family. But I do think that she is going to eventually leave her childhood, or not her, well, her abductor childhood home, and I do think that she is going to, by the time she reunites, she will have her own family. Okay, she'll at least have one child. She'll have her own family. And I think that the moon, with the moon card, sometimes that can represent secrets. I think that secrets will start being exposed. Things are going to start happening. I think that there could potentially, although a law card did not come out, but with that Seven of Swords, I feel like there's something that's going to happen in her life, sadly, that is going to, lead her to finding out the truth. Okay, I do think that she is going to figure out what happened. She finds out there's something in her life that happens that exposes what these two people did to her. Okay, so there's something that happens, and then the Ace of Swords. So this is reversed. This one's interesting. It's, yeah, I mean, I feel like this actually represents that item, whatever that instance is, whatever that law thing is, whether it's stealing, whether it's, whatever. There's some sort of, there's something that occurs that, like I said, is going to be a bittersweet, because, upright aces are, good cards. So when it's reversed, there's something else going on. And so I do feel like whatever this event is, whatever that sword represents, okay, whatever happens, it is going to actually lead to these secrets being exposed. And I think at that point, like I said, it's going to be years from now, but I do believe it's going to happen. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that reading. I guess I didn't get into using this deck, but very interesting case. If you haven't looked into it, if you haven't watched anything on it or read up on it, I suggest you do, because it's a very interesting case. Sad. It's very sad. And I honestly, I hope that, Sabrina does find out what happened and she is reunited with her real family. But, again, when something like that happens and 25 years goes by, you're not the same person. None of you are the same person. You've went through so much. It's hard to just, you're not going to go back to that morning in 1997 and take up where you left off. So many things have happened, and you know, it's just one of those horrible things, but I pray that everything works out in the end and they are reunited sometime. And I think they will be. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you soon. Have a great one. Bye.